Guys, society has a lot of problems. You know them. You don't need me to list them. But the biggest problem of all, I think we can all agree, is that it's on land. Haven't you always thought that all of society's problems could be solved if we just lived out in the ocean instead of on land? In free-floating libertarian enclaves? Wait, don't turn off the video. Well, I've got good news for you because there's a group of like-minded people just like you called the Seasteading Institute, and I say just like you, not like me. I don't believe any of this stuff, but you definitely do, who want to make this a reality. And they've laid out their whole plan in this very modestly titled video, The Solution to All Politics on Earth.
The solution to all politics on Earth is not an ideology. It's a technology. Imagine you're living in a floating Venice. The entire community votes for a political party. You're the only one who voted against it.
Okay, I am imagining living in a floating Venice. Is that what you're trying to show me right now? This looks like a single white box in the middle of the ocean, which is not what I remember Venice looking like.
You're the only one who voted against it. You say, screw this. I'm detaching my home, my yard, my garden, and I'm inexpensively floating down the moat and out into the ocean and attaching to another community.
That sounds terrifying, dude. So yeah, that's basically the premise here, is that there's gonna be a bunch of different communities in the ocean. There could be thousands, tens of thousands of different cities and governments in the ocean. And if you don't like your government, you can just detach and float off into the ocean and hope to God that you find another one that has a better government. Also, I guess, hope that they let you in. I guess we're just assuming xenophobia doesn't exist out on the open sea. Every community will just welcome you in no matter who you are or where you came from. You just come floating along on your house. Also, he's just describing moving. He's like, if you don't like where you live, you can move. I guess the one advantage is that you get to bring your house and your yard with you. Is that what he said?
I'm detaching my home, my yard, my garden, and you wouldn't be a citizen. You'd be a customer.
Just like I've always wanted, to go from citizen to customer.
This is already going on all over the oceans everywhere.
No, I don't think it is.
Patriots step from their country onto an anarcho-capitalist floating city, and they don't change their ideology.
How is that a patriot? A patriot is somebody who loves and defends their country. Not only are the people leaving their country to go to sea, but even that country, it sounds like they don't like enough to stay. Because if they make one policy they don't like, they're just gonna move to a different country.
Private governance on cruise ships is so much better. People take a vacation on it.
Okay, so yeah, then the video takes a weird turn and he starts talking about cruise ships and how awesome cruise ships are and how that is a good proof of concept for floating cities. And it's like, yeah, cruise ships are fun. It's like you're at a resort on the ocean. I don't think they're fun because you're on the ocean though. It's just a giant floating city where there's a lot of fun stuff. But he tries to make this weird point that people like cruises because of the government on the cruise.
Every year, a population bigger than Texas signs a contract to get on a floating city and be governed.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna book a cruise on Royal Caribbean. It's because I wanna be on a floating city and be governed. It is hard picking between the different cruises. You got Carnival Cruises, which is a capitalist democracy. You've got Royal Caribbean, which is a communist utopia. You got Norwegian Cruise Line, which is a dictatorship, a fascist dictatorship. Don't ever go on a Norwegian cruise. It seems like the only thing that a cruise and what this guy is talking about, the only thing they have in common is that they're both on the ocean. You can't leave a cruise ship if you don't like the government. You can't detach your room and float off into the sea and go attach to a different cruise ship.
Signs a contract to get on a floating city and be governed. They don't even read it.
Yeah, exactly. They don't read it. I feel like he's kind of defeating his own point there. He's like, people get on cruise ships because they have researched the government of cruise ships. Also, they don't even read or care about the government on cruise ships. Also, there is something eerie about this shot that is this man-made island in the middle of the ocean circling around this woman who appears to be trying to find any way to get off of this thing.
The statists don't even notice they prefer libertarian societies.
I honestly do not know much about the governance of cruise ships. I understand they're on international waters, so they probably have some kind of different government system going on. Are all cruise ships Libertarian governments? Which country is the most libertarian? People often ask. You click on it and it says Carnival Cruises. Hey, why isn't my question and people often ask? People aren't often asking if cruise ships have libertarian governments? I thought that's the #1 reason people get on cruise ships.
Cruises are the fastest growing travel industry in the world. They employ more and more people every year. And why?
Wait, what is that one? What happened to the cool futuristic one? Okay, maybe these are 2 different companies that are working on it. We got Ocean Builders, Futuristic Pod, and then we got ArcPad, which is just sort of a regular concrete building floating on the sea. Now, I know we were talking a lot about Venice 2.0, floating utopias, and this is kind of what we're working with right now. You could connect the dots in your head and kind of see where we're going with this. You can kind of expand outward and see how this would create a utopia. Then they do start showing renderings of the kind of thing that they're looking to create. You've got floating cities. Actually, this one has a floating city and a cruise ship pulling up to the floating city. You can take a floating city to the floating city. And if you don't like that floating city, you can hop on a different floating city. Then we have, I guess this boat is like carrying this apartment complex to a different, country? Wait a minute. Wait, yeah, if you live in an apartment, then you can partake in this switching around of governments. All of the people in this apartment building chose to leave their country unanimously, or did their landlord decide to leave? That is a terrifying thought, dude. They lived in a whole different country, and the country wanted to implement rent control, and the landlord was like, nah, we're leaving, guys. Everybody, hold on. And he starts up his yacht and he just tows them to a different country. Yeah, this new country I found has a law that everybody has to pay their landlord $10 million a month. Before the next video, I want to take a moment to tell you how you could receive up to $350 thanks to today's sponsor, Chime. If you have a regular old bank account, you might think that earning piddles in your savings account is normal. You might think that getting 1 to 2% cash back on your credit card is awesome. Newsflash, it is not awesome. Chime is awesome. Chime is changing the way people bank with fee-free banking, up to 3.75% APY on savings, which is 9 times the national average. Also, 5% cash back in a category of your choice with the Chime Card, which is wild. That means for every purchase you make in the category of your choice, whether it be dining, travel, gas, groceries, you'll get 5% of that back. As someone who goes to the grocery store what seems like every other day, if I were to spend like $1,500 on groceries in a month because kids are expensive, that'd be 75 smackaroos back into my Chime account. Because you can earn so much with their high yield savings account, you're gonna want to use it as much as possible, which is why it's great. They have some savings automation features. For example, with Roundup enabled, Chime will automatically round up every purchase you make to the nearest dollar and deposit the difference into your savings account. You can also set a specific percentage of your direct deposit to go straight into your savings account right when you get paid. That way you'll be saving and your money will be growing without even thinking about it. And here is the part I'm most excited about. If you sign up for a new Chime checking account using my link, you can get up to a $350 bonus. So make the switch to Chime right now. Go to chime.com/Danny. It'll be the link in the top of the description, or just scan the QR code right here. It only takes a few minutes to sign up, and this offer is only available through my link, chime.com/Danny. Thanks to Chime for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for checking out Chime. Here's a different render where you've got what appears to be homes, you've got little parks. I do wonder, okay, let's say you're this person, and all of a sudden the government passes a law that says everybody has to wear cargo shorts, and you don't even have any cargo shorts, and you don't want to abide by that law. It just goes against your moral principles, and so you're like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Ocean, Sweden. And then you're like, oh wait, but my house is trapped. Not only is there other houses in the way, it appears that there's a street and infrastructure connected to my house. Hey, excuse me, neighbor, could you move your house out of the way so I can move to Ocean, Sweden? And your neighbor says, no. Also, you're not wearing cargo shorts right now. You're going to jail.
Pirates are a land problem. Don't believe the media.
Don't be fucking stupid. Don't believe the media. Pirates are a land problem. First off, no. Who told you that? A pirate? Pirate was like, you know what? You know where you should go, actually? The middle of the ocean. Yeah, you'll be very safe there. Get off of that land. There's lots of pirates on that land.
Pirates flourish off the coast of failed governments.
So what we're gonna do is create a bunch of floating failed governments. and we don't expect to see any pirates. For a little background information on this organization, this is an organization that was founded by Wayne Gramlich and Patry Friedman, and also heavily backed by PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. Billionaire, insane person extraordinaire Peter Thiel of "I'm not sure if I want humans to survive" fame.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
The fact that he is backing this does kind of make it seem like, sure, like the libertarian, you know, you can switch up your government aspects of this are nice, but also this does definitely seem like, at least at first, a place for billionaires to go where they won't be taxed. Which actually does kind of make it surprising that this organization has not gotten off the ground really yet, literally, because they were founded in 2008, and they've been trying to set up colonies for a long time, but they just can't figure out how to do it. They hoped that their first prototype seastead would be in San Francisco Bay by 2010, followed by a seastead in 2014, and they did not meet these targets. And it does still seem like even a year ago, the best they can do is just one lone pod floating in the ocean. I mean, maybe they have all the infrastructure there, they're just waiting for people to join them, and nobody has showed up yet.
Why do your grandparents feel safe boarding a cruise for 10 days? Because libertarian societies naturally emerge on a fluid.
And I've always said that. Why did he call it a fluid? Any fluid? You ever leave a bowl of soup out for a day and you come back and there's a whole libertarian society on it? So that's what the Seasteading Institute has been up to lately, but I also found this insane saga from like 7 years ago where they tried to set up just a lone seasteading operation off the coast of Thailand, and the Thai government like took action and I think arrested them and then destroyed their seasteading place, their seastead, because they were like, you're trying to create a sovereign nation within our jurisdiction. That's not allowed. It opens with this happy couple dancing on their sea pod, which honestly does look like it's at a bit of a weird angle. Looks like they just started living on this thing and it is already tilted.
Just me and Chaz alone.
There's no boat.
Is nothing, you know, who will not be scary to be like alone.
Yeah. That's some good advertising. Yeah, the first night alone in this thing, I just realized how alone we truly are, and I was terrified.
Somebody please come join us out here.
Current governments have a monopoly on land, but they don't have a monopoly on sea.
I hate to break it to you, dog. I think they have a monopoly on sea, too. So when we get a look inside their seastead home, it's not exactly like luxury living. They've got tiny windows, and it just kind of looks like a big white jail cell. They're like, we escaped the tyranny of government and fled to our tiny jail cell in the middle of the ocean. Also, they still have to sail to shore to get supplies. There's no grocery store out there. Look at all these groceries they got. I guess in time, if they built a civilization around them, then there could be resources there. But this whole operation does seem like it's going to be really hard to get off the ground. Okay, then there's this video. The first seasteaders sail all night through a lightning storm. Malaysia border police deny them entry. Malaysia maintains an extradition treaty with Thailand. The international fugitives cannot legally enter any nearby country. Stranded at sea with no internet, the first seasteaders sneak ashore to get gas. Okay, so I guess what happened is once they built their own nation in the sea, every surrounding country that they're close to the coast of was like, all right, if you're your own country, then you're a citizen of that country. You can't come in here. And I think Thailand is mad at them because they built theirs too close to the shore of Thailand. And so they're like, no, you can't come back in here. You're not allowed to be here. And then they got themselves in a situation where they're in a storm in the middle of the ocean and no countries will take them in, which is terrifying.
So today we had quite a scare. I mean, we've been scared the whole time.
Yeah, I think he just said the quiet part out loud a little bit. Today we had a scare. Well, actually, to be fair, there hasn't been a single moment since we set foot on our vessel that we haven't been totally consumed by fear. But this was the scariest part so far. I was gonna ask, like, what happens when there's a storm at sea? Like, I kind of assumed surely this vessel would be safe in a storm. Surely they've thought of that, because that's something that happens at sea. Weather. But apparently they have not really figured out an adequate solution to that yet, which is terrifying. Maybe once the city gets bigger, there will be a plan for that. I mean, cruise ships can weather storms, right? I think if there's one thing I'm learning while recording this video is that I don't know anything about being at sea, really. This seems terrifying to me. Maybe this is just normal.
Seasteading.
What did the first seastead achieve?
Yes, what did it achieve? What did we learn from all this?
In 1903, 2 people at Kitty Hawk flew the first airplane. 66 years later, men walked on the moon. With the first affordable single-family seastead, ocean builders achieved our Kitty Hawk moment for seasteaders everywhere.
Well, it seems like they're considering the experiment a resounding success, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. They got trapped in a storm and ran out of gas, and then the Thai government blew up their seastead. But I guess if you take out those 2 issues, then you just have a couple extremely scared in a floating sea vessel, which is not too bad. Anyway, there are currently a bunch of active projects that the Seasteading Institute is advertising. You got ArcPad in South Asia, Atlas Island, Seabrick in Vancouver, Canada. So the seasteading movement is still going strong. I don't know if they've found a single spot in the water that they can do this in safely, but you know, I wish them the best of luck. And if anybody out there wants to join the seasteading community, I would strongly advise against it. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you subscribe and turn on my notifications so you can see the next one. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.